Okay, so let's discuss the C Lydian mode. Now, you'll notice if you look at the sheet music or at the fretboard diagram that there's one sharp involved, and the sharp occurs on the 4th scale degree. And so C major or C Ionian mode has no sharps or flats. In order to get Lydian, we have to add that one sharp. Now, it's on the 4th scale degree, and so we have sort of a characteristic sound that's coming from that raised 4th. And so if we look at that first chord, you see that I have a sharp 4, an F sharp, inside the chord voicing itself. And so here's C major 7 with a sharp 4 or sharp 11, depending on how you want to name it. The 4th is raised. This chord, by the way, is root sharp 4, 7, 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and play this example. As you'll notice, I'm beginning on the root and I'm playing down to the other notes that are available in the position, all the way back up to the top note in the position and back down. Now when I say position, what I really am referencing is the fingering system here, because we are kind of diagonally covering a couple of positions at once. This 3-note per string system counterbalances the caged approach that we used for the major scale course on this site. And it will allow for a little bit different thinking, a little bit maybe more horizontal or diagonal thinking, and I think they dovetail nicely. We're playing 3 notes per string, starting on the root and ending on the root, and the chord we're playing against is actually going to be a little bit lower, but it's based on this idea of the root, the sharp 4, because that's the characteristic tone of Lydian, and then the major 3rd and major 7th, which are also really crucial tones for identifying the Lydian color. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now, I use either the 2nd or 3rd finger on the inner note of the 3-note per string pattern, and I choose depending on what's comfortable within the position, because depending on the scale or the mode itself, and also where we are on the fretboard, 2 or 3 may feel more comfortable or more natural. I say depending on the position on the neck because, as I'm sure you're aware, the frets are a lot wider down here than they are up here. And so you'd be surprised, you might find yourself doing things that seem counterintuitive. I often will play 1, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. Or at a certain point, I might switch, I might play 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4 to get my hand sort of ready for the upcoming posture of the scale. You might rotate a bit as you play the scale, and so it sort of depends, but the 1st and 3rd notes on each string, the first note that we play and the last note that we play on each string in the 3-note per string system are going to be played with the index and the pinky. So just choose between these two depending on what is comfortable for you. 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... A little slower. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay guys, next I'm going to improvise a little bit within the mode, and I'll try to emphasize the F sharp, the major third, major seventh, the tones that really sound like Lydian. And I'm sticking just within these 3-note per string fingerings. So here we go. I always like to see which harmonics are available within the scale. You know, in this case, the A, D, G, B, and E 12th fret harmonics are all part of the Lydian mode, so I ended with those. So I think the takeaway here, guys, is just to think about the 3-note per string fingerings so that you decide which you like, you know, 2 or 3. Really listen to the sound of the mode against the chord. And remember that if you take a major scale, or a so-called Ionian mode, and you raise the 4th using a sharp to bring that up, you will have a Lydian sound, and that it's our brightest sounding mode. I think that's generally agreed upon. You know, to use color analogies might not be the best, but it's probably about as good as we can get. It's something like a color or a scent, like I was saying, and Lydian has this definite effect here. We're going to normalize that F in the next section, so we're going to actually take the sharp back out, and we'll be at C Ionian, which is the next darkest mode. Here we go.